In this video, we're going to do 8.10 typewriter. All right, so I have the problem here. Downloaded and opened up in Racket. So NPC dialogue text in video games animates character by character. Google game typewriter effect. Design a rule program that animates the typewriter effect. So let me just run this off here to the side so you can see what the solution looks like. So it's going to animate going character by character, right? Because that's what happens in video games to emulate, characters talking. And this is a famous line. Thank you, Mario, but our princess is in another castle. All right. So let's keep going. So hint, we have provided you with the data definition and constants. Finish writing the advance-char and render function. And likewise, this is a problem B, but let's just keep going for problem A. So here are some constants right over here, right? So width and height, text size 24, background is black, and then text color is black, background is width and height, like so. All right, so let's review the data definition. So typewriter is the message, which is the string, and that message is the string we want to display. The cursor is a natural number, so they can't be negative. Cursor is the index of the message we are displaying up to, right? All right. Here are the accessor signatures, and here are two lines from video games. This one's from Mario, and this one is from Portal. And here is a template that we can use to kickstart our development for these advance-char and render function. All right. So pause the video and try to work on the advance-char function. All right, I'm gonna go with spoilers in 3, 2, and 1. All right, I'm gonna assume that you guys took a good swing in it. So we have the signature, next is the purpose. So what we're gonna do for the purpose is that we're gonna advance the cursor by 1, okay? And then signature purpose stub. So the stub is that we have to produce a typewriter according to the signature. So let's just spit out the one that we're given as input. All right, so I'm gonna check myself off for that. Gonna grab some check marks up here, like so. So that's done. Next are some examples. So advance char. I'm gonna grab this line over here, so we don't have to keep scrolling up and down. This. All right, so check expect. So what do we expect this to produce? Well, according to the signature, we have to produce a typewriter at the end of the day. So make typewriter. All right, so the line is going to stay exactly the same, but the cursor is going to be incremented by 2 to 3. All right, so that is pretty much it. All right, so signature purpose stub, examples are done. You can do one for the Mario case. Right, so let's do one more example. Right, if it's the cursor is at 3, then we should upgrade it to 4. All right, and I recommend you do one for the Mario example to really flesh out the problem, your understanding of the problem. All right, so that is all done. Next, let's run it against the stub. It fails, but it's just mismatches. It's fine. So I'm gonna grab template up here that consumes a typewriter. All right, and we can use that to kickstart. But we're gonna write here, gonna rename this advance-char. All right, so now really pause the video. Hopefully this should be all the mental scaffolding needed to solve the problem. Lower spoilers in 3, 2, and 1. All right, I'm gonna assume that you guys took a good swing at it. So now let's go over it together. So all we need to do is that, well, looking at the signature, we consume a typewriter, we must produce a typewriter. Examples also say the same, so we gotta do make typewriter here. Message stays exactly the same. It's just the number of the cursor that gets incremented. So we can do a +1 here to the typewriter. So we're going to add the cursor +1. All right, so we run that, all our tests should pass. Now let's work on the render function, right? How are we going to draw the text out? All right, so pause the video and try to work on the render function. Spoilers in 3, 2, and 1. All right, I'm assuming that you took a good swing at it. So let's go over the steps as always. So that's the signature. Next is the purpose. So we're going to say render, say draw a portion of the text based on the cursor of the given typewriter text based on the cursor. All right, that's pretty good enough. Signature, purpose, stub. So we have to produce an image for the stub. Let's just produce a dummy image. So NPC 10. Examples, check. expect. All right, so what does render? I'm going to copy and paste this so you don't have to keep looking up. What should this equal? Right, make typewriter where the index is 2. Right, well, we're going to need a function that produces an image of text. And if you remember, that is the text function like so. Right, text, string, font size, color, etc. So let's just do that. So text, right, we're going to give it, what else? What are the arguments again? The string. So the string we want is th, right? So th. And then we want, what else? The font size and the font color. So those are defined as constants above. And font color. I think if we run this, it'll tell me if it's not defined. So what did I name it? Text size and text color. So my bad. Text size and text color. All right. So we should see th like so. Let's do one more example, right? So take is 3. So we should be rendering the, right? Like so. So I'm going to run this. And this empty image differs from that. It's fine. Anyways, going to comment out the stub. Everything works fine. The examples do run. We're going to copy the template that consumes the typewriter and use this to kickstart our development for render, like so. And rename the function here. All right, so now really pause the video and try to work on the solution for render on your own. This should be all the mental scaffolding needed to solve the problem. Over spoilers in 3, 2, and 1. All right, so I'm assuming that you guys took a good swing at it. So what we need to do is that, looking at our examples, right? Text, we need to produce an image of text. The message here, so this and this are different. That indicates that we need operations that work on strings. In this case, I know we need substring to render a portion, to get the portion of the string out of the typewriter, right? So, of the message, right? So this is going to give us this string, and what we want to do in the substring is that we want to start at 0 and then end at, so this 2 and 3 are different, and that is the cursor of the typewriter. So we got to get the cursor there. Okay, so text, this is the first argument. Second on right is going to be text size and text color. So text size and text color. All right, and this should pass all those tests, and so they do. So we run this main, and we'll give it the cake, right? The cake is a lie. It's stored in that variable. It should render like so, but it's not rendering like so. Right, it's too small. It's, ugh. So why is it like that? Well, if you remember all the way back from the earlier videos, the initial width of the window is going to be the image that it renders first, right? And the image that it renders first is going to be this. So we can just run this to the side here. It's going to be this small thing, right? We want to place it on top of the background such that the initial window size is going to be much bigger. So what we're going to do is we're going to overlay this text image on top of the background, right? And what that is going to look like is that it's going to look like this instead of this small image here. All right, so we're going to do this for our other example here too. And also we're going to adjust our function to do the same. Up, Control I to re-indent everything, Control I to run. Overlay expects 2 arguments, only found 1. Oh, I forgot to add the background here. And also here, overlay expects 2 arguments, only found 1. Background going a little too fast there. And all for a test pass. So now we run main. We'll say, I think the Mario was stored in castle, right? The make typewriter, where is it? This one, right? Thank you, Mario, but our princess is another castle. Right, let's just run that. And so it works like so. Oh, we ran into an error here, and it jumped us to this error. Substring index is 56, and something's going wrong here. Let's run on the other one. So to build our understanding, let's So we do main of cake, right? So the cake is a lie, and it also breaks on this one, right? It's this substring for some reason crashes, and it kind of tells us why we're crashing here, all right? So how it works is that Big Bang is calling advance-char, and it's going to add 1 to advance-char to infinity, right? But the typewriter strings, right, the messages are not infinity length, right? This one itself, right, the cake is a lie, is string length. It's 18, right? So once Big Bang keeps calling advance-char, render, advance-char, render, advance-char, render, right? At some point, it's going to do this substring such that it's going to do this substring. It's going to do the cake is a lie. And then it's going to do, it's going to be like 19. It's going to go way over the end of the string, right? This is that same error. This error and this error is the same. I highly recommend you use the stepper again to see where it went wrong. In this case, I just know that what we need to do is that we need to adjust our advance-char such that it never increments the cursor over the length of the string, right? Because it's going off the length of the string. So let's write a test for that, right? So if the cake is a lie, which is a 18 long string, right? So we do that. So string of 18, it should still work. 18, like so. And yes, it does work. All right. So if the cursor is at 18, we want it to stay at 18. All right. It shouldn't go increment the cursor to 19 because once the render function goes and runs the substring, the cursor is going to be at 19. The string length is 18, and we get a crash there. So try to pause the video and adjust the advance-char, right, to fulfill this purpose, right? Advance the cursor by 1 only if it is not bigger than the length of the string. All right. So pause the video and try to do that. I'm going to go over spoilers in 3, 2, and 1. All right, I'm going to assume that you guys took a good swing at it. So make typewriter, the message stays the same. This one, we want to snap it. So what we need to do, if we read the purpose statement, right, only if it is no longer, right, bigger than the length of the string, right? So this indicates we need an if, right? The purpose statement says we need an if here. So likewise, we need an if here. All right, so if, right, if the cursor is less than, let me see, less than the string length of the message, right, then, only then we want to add 1, right? Otherwise, if it's like way bigger, right, then we want to snap it at the cursor. We want it to stay exactly the same, like so. Hopefully that makes sense. I recommend you use the stepper to see what it does, but this should pass our test, right? So if the cursor is less than the message length, the string length, right, then we'll do the increment, adding 1. Otherwise, it should stay at 18, right, length of the string. So we run this, all our tests pass, and we should not get that crash anymore. And we run this, right, it shouldn't crash. And if we quit here, it stays at 18. Okay, so now that is that. All these steps done for that. All right, for advanced character and render. Test review and refactor. It looks good. Can hit Control-I to make sure that everything's nice and indented. So now let's go over problem B. Make it so when the user presses the R key, we will reset to the beginning. Follow the HDF recipe for handle key. All right, so we need to comment this out and try to work on the handle key function on your own. All right, spoilers in 3, 2, and 1. I'm gonna assume that needs a good swing in it. So now let's go over it together. So here is the signature, right? Next is the purpose. So if we read the problem statement, right, we need to reset the cursor to 0 if the R key is pressed. All right. They gave us a stub here. That's fine. Let's comment out this template very quickly so that we can write some tests. Okay. So check expect handle key, and we'll give it, I'm going to copy and paste this down again so we don't have to keep scrolling up. All right. So it takes a given typewriter. We have to give it a key event, and that is R, right? What happens when we press R when this is at 3? Well, it's going to be at THE. But when we press R, we just want to reset the typewriter's cursor to 0, right? Because this has to produce a typewriter at the end of the day, according to the signature. So make typewriter. The message stays exactly the same. And then this turns to 0. All right, let's do one more test for good measure. So we're going to do something like if we press the X key, what happens? Well, the problem statement, problem B says we only want to reset it if we press R. So it should stay exactly the same, right? Given that this typewriter, we should produce the same typewriter with the cursor not touched at all. So I'm going to run this example against the stub here. We get some mismatches, that's fine. So now I'm going to comment out the stub and we can work on the problem here. So pause the video and try to work on the solution on your own. This should be all the mental scaffolding needed to solve the problem. I'll go with spoilers in 3, 2, and 1. All right, I'm assuming that you guys took a good swing at it. So now let's go over it together. So looking at this signature, we know that we need a typewriter at the end of the day. Let's grab the typewriter template to help us out here. All right. So we need the fields of it, like so. All right. Okay. So for when we press R, right, we want to reset the typewriter. Make typewriter. We're going to take apart the same message, so the message remains the exact same, the case lie, but the cursor, when we press R, right, this is pressing R, we just want to reset that to 0. All right. So now for this second else case, right, what happens if we press any other key like X and etc. or space, or what happens if we press nothing? Well, if we do nothing, right, we don't press the R key, then we just want to produce the same thing. And so that means we just want to take in a typewriter and we just want to spit the same thing back out. Given a typewriter in TW, we spit the same thing back out because we only want to reset when we press R in this case here. So all our tests should pass. And if I run, right, and I press R, it's going to reset the line yet again. The cake is a lie. Let's do the Mario one. So main is going to be castle is what I named it, the typewriter. And thank you, Mario, but the princess is in another castle. I hate when that happens. Like so. All right. So that is about it for this problem. Try to hand in and then select the right slot. Check your score. Anyways, I'll catch you in the next one.